Hello, welcome to episode 105 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to take all of our issues and we take a fly swatter and we just go after them like crazy people, Steven. We attack them despite the fact that no one can see what we're going after, which we were just talking about off camera because there's a fly haunting you right now. And I know you're not going to believe me. You're going to be like, oh yeah, it's a nice job trying to cover up your like nonsense that's going on in your brain when you're just randomly attacking. Okay, here's the thing, Steven. I live with cats now. I'm adopting their ways. I don't need to explain my random actions. I can just just attack stuff and just like, you know what? If you can't explain it, that's on you. I just saved multiple universes that you're not familiar with.
They have shown me the ways to look into the realms of the undead.
But, I mean, that has to be what's going on. Like the other day, I looked at the cat that's literally staring at me right now. We have an audience right now. It's technically a live show. Luna is watching this, but I watched this cat just see something that I could not see, and then just to save me from it, presumably. Like I don't know what happened. She was just like, I'm on it, and just like ran like spider sense attacked nothing, and I was like, or everything, and just completely
the shadow demons from a ghost.
Like, yeah, I mean like. Maybe she's like she's like Doctor Stranging, and she's just like, I just saved you from one of the several demons that could have potentially made their way into this realm. You know, like I don't know, like we are living in the best possible world because of this crazy cat. Anyway, I have a fly in my house right now. It's driving me crazy. Steven. But every week we get together and we talk about other issues that plague us while we're trying to make comic books and other creative things. Most recently, we've been working on a supernatural action comedy called Deathless. You can kind of see my poster up there, Steven. I have a new space.
There's a barrel behind me. He's in it.
Dude, so every week we talk about a little bit about what we did. Then we get into some stuff that we were thinking about during the week and things that plagued our minds and distracted us. But this week, Steven, what did you want to do and how did you do?
So like I said, my goal each week now is to just put that on my shoulders to get as much done as possible and finish the book. Did not finish the book, but I got these two incredible pages.
Before you show those pages, Steven, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You failed. Steven is a failure.
I was trying to avoid the failure dance is what I was trying to do.
Oh, see what we do here is it's all about accountability. Steven, I hold you accountable to the greatest extent while I just push this conversation forward, ignoring all of my shortcomings.
This has been the dynamic for 105 episodes, Steven. Get with the damn program.
We don't fix what's not broken, Steven. We've nailed this. We've perfected our craft. No, but so far, dude. But I've seen what you've worked on, and go ahead, you can do the thing now.
Boom! These two pages. I jumped from the barrel smashing the wall page to the eye page because I'm kind of getting to that territory where the pages aren't flatted anyway. And I knew that page
is a failure.
And I knew that page was going to be challenging. There was going to be a lot of colors on it because there's multiple, like various sceneries. And I was in the mood to do it. So I was like, I'm going to jump on this because I know this is going to be a 4-hour page or something like that to color. So yeah. And then that page looks freaking awesome. Like,
I commend and freaking applaud you for doing that because it's the right thing and the smartest thing to do is working on the thing that you feel inclined to work on in that moment when you know something else is going to be like freaking stifling. Like, yeah. I failed that. I'll tell you, I had a total like fuck ass this week because I wanted to let her real hard, Steven. I was like, I got this. I overestimated because I was I'm trying my best to get this move done. Actually, we are in a new space now. Look at me. Like I have this new situation. This is just like a temporary setup, but my wonderful, incredible girlfriend was, like so gracious and letting me do this and like have all of this awesome space. But dude, we're in the middle of a move, so I knew I wasn't going to get the whole thing done, but I wanted to push forward as much as I could. What I forgot, Steven, was I was on a page where there was magic happening. There was that
page.
So I was on the page where the main antagonists who will become the antagonists are summoning forth the power that is going to
grow. And there's just so many colors on that page.
So many colors. There's so much going on. It's a beautiful page. It's one of the pages that you're like, I need there to be words, but I don't want to cover all this gorgeous art. And like, how do you do it in a non-cheesy way? Like, you'll see it. Like, so here's the page. You need characters who are saying the same thing, chanting the spell. doing this in such a way, and I didn't want to just do like basic word balloons for them for every single.
Yeah, the repetition of the spell itself, right? Like they're obviously chanting the same phrase. So you don't want to just do it a bunch of times with the word balloons, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And I didn't want every single person to have to say that. I wanted to have this the idea, like the feeling of they're all just repeating this phrase while the main villain, like the primary like hero antagonist, you know, like the main bad guy, the big bad, is like going forward with the spell while the others continue to chant part of it, you know. And I wanted to do that. And I was like, crap, how do I convey that, you know? And I tried a few things and I sent them to you, and you were like, I don't know how to tell you this sucks. And I was like, I know. And I was like, dude, and it sucks because like, I know, like, I feel the same way with you when I'm like, I know when you're working through something and I'm like, I feel like it's not going to really benefit him if I say anything at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, like there are certain things where I'm like, I think it's kind of like you can help tweak by saying like, this is kind of what I like about this, and maybe help steer in the right direction. But like any real negativity is just going to be like extra daunting, where it's just like, oh, now I don't know what to do, and you get lost, and like, you know,
you feel like the entire, because like the concept that you were going for was not a bad concept idea. It was just executing it properly.
Yeah.
So that way it does, because like obviously the initial one you sent, it consumed the energy to the point where it's like you couldn't even see the spell going off.
Yes.
But the idea was there, and I'm like, no, there's a good concepts in here. Like we just gotta.
Yeah, dude. So I was working through that, and I'm unpacking and getting all this stuff, and I spent, you know, a good portion of last night just like trying to like do trial and error and work through things. But it's been rough. But you know, just like working on that this week with everything else that's been going on. But I'm happy with where I got. I think that, you know, the page looks pretty good. And this week, like tomorrow, I should be able to get a lot lettered. And then like the rest, you know, now we're in a comfortable zone where all of my stuff is moved, and like we're moved in, we're here, and I can actually like start to relax and just kind of like make a home again, you know? So it's like, it's
settle in.
Yeah, we're just settling in. So like now it's been nice, dude. That being said, it's going to have, there are going to be some new things to work on. Like, or like there are going to be like new challenges, new hurdles that, you know, that present themselves that like I wasn't really considering. Like, I mean, just like setting up my lights in this new little space, I was like, oh, this is different. Like, what do I do? You know, I was like, oh, I'm going to hear the sounds from different things. I have to remember to unplug stuff that I usually don't unplug.
Which actually, I want to comment, the mic actually is picking it up cleaner.
Yeah,
it's not as spacey sounding on your end.
That's
not
awesome,
not that your room sounded super spacey, but you still sounded good. But there's definitely more muting going on, probably because of the books. Honestly, the books are probably absorbing a lot of sound.
So I'm in this nice corner now. Not to mention, I was constantly combating the worst air conditioning. Like it was the best air conditioning really for someone who lives in Florida, but it was the strongest, most like Hoth-like breath in my face at all times that was coming, you know, just like breathing right into the microphone. I'd constantly try to like hide that or, you know, do what I could. Here, I don't feel that. I'm just like, I'm comfortable. But dude, this week, everyone in the house basically got sick. Like, like everyone, like, it hit me, and I thought, I was like, oh, this is like bad allergies, because I was cleaning up. I went to, you know, where I was living, and I had to like clean up the house. I'm like sweeping and dusting and like cleaning up. Every time I do something like that, like heavily destroys my body. Like my whole, I can't, my sinuses are like, you're not made to do this. Sorry. Like
dude, that's like what happened to me today. Like at work, we work in gated communities, and like 90% of gated communities, the houses are like 5 feet from each other. You know, they're really tight next to each other. And I was pushing the wheelbarrow through in between the houses, and there was just trees and bushes in between. So I'm just getting like hit in the face with all this pollen. Like,
Bruce Campbell.
Like, there was like no way to avoid it. So I knew I was going to have a bad day, because I knew I was going to have an attack at some point. Just right in my face.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I don't want dead humans or you know, like plant semen in my body. Like it's just like I know that's not scientifically accurate. Only a certain percentage of the dust is human. The rest is plant semen.
A goo. Just
that's all plant. It's all plant semen all the way down. Dude, but so we're all moved in. It's so nice, but like. It's interesting. So like we have, it's such a nice place here. I feel like I'm just like, I snuck in. Ha ha ha. My girlfriend's too good. Like, this is amazing. But like, so we live in this like nice gated community, and my girlfriend was like, I'm going to take care of lunch. I'm going to order us a sandwich on Instacart. No worries. You do all your stuff. You set everything up. You do what you have to do. Hang out with the kids. Like, you're not feeling great. No one's feeling great. We'll order lunch. We're going to have sandwiches. Steven, usually not an issue. Order Instacart. You're like, oh, I treated myself. I paid a little extra for someone else to be an Oompa Loompa for me. You know, like it's fantastic. Steven, today, my girlfriend went. She had to go somewhere, so she ordered food and she left. The groceries show up, and I'm like, I know how to handle groceries. I've handled groceries for most of it. I can do this. I carry the stuff in. I put it up on the counter. I look at it, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't have ordered this stuff, but she orders this stuff. This is a conversation that we're gonna have.
Oh no.
So I was like, this is a conversation we're gonna have to have where I'm like, it's fine. Like, okay, maybe she doesn't eat tuna fish. Maybe her daughter eats tuna fish. So I'm like looking at the stuff, and I'm like, where's my sandwich? I was like, where? Why? I was like, the one thing, you know, I was like, the one thing, what happened? You know, like internally, I was like on fire because I'm starving and I skipped breakfast because I was so excited for the sandwich that I didn't even think about eating anything else. I was like, who needs other food?
I need to save every taste bud needs to be ready to receive like the first time they've ever tasted anything.
Yes. I am prepared to like just consume this godly substance. And it was not there, Stephen. It was not there. So I was like, who do I blame? What happens here? How is this happening? So I was like, you know what? No big deal. I'm going to put all the groceries away. We'll figure out lunch. She comes home as I'm like starting to put groceries away. And I look in the bag, Stephen. And the reason I'm even talking about this.
I'm pretty sure, I think I know what happened just following the story, knowing your diets and stuff.
But Stephen, I look in the bag and there's celery juice. Now,
Celery juice?
First of all, I don't know how you juice.
You mean water? There was water.
Yes, there was an unfortunate amount of water in a container. What?
Dirty water is what you.
Dirty water. There was an off-colored water in the. It was a very green water in there, but it was celery juice with hint of lime, which is hilarious because that's just dirty water with a hint of other dirty waters. Like what do you?
You can go anywhere and have them pour tap water for you with a squeeze of lime, and it'd be the same nutritional value.
So my girlfriend. Wonderful person, smartest person I've met in the longest time. I love her. She's incredibly funny, so clever. I trust her, like just purely, truly trust everything. I was like, I want to know what's up with this. Like, what is this? Do you like this? Is this a substance that you imbibed? And how did you not tell me about this beforehand? This is a deal-breaking substance.
Celery juice drinking son of a.
So I was like, my own girlfriend, a goddamn celery shit sucking, celery sucking vampire. So I asked her, I was like, I hold it up. And I'm like, I don't want to judge you. I'm trying real hard. I'm not gonna judge.
Your face is all like.
This one though, like was this a mistake?
Celery juice.
So she's like, I didn't order celery juice. I was like, okay, maybe we got someone else's celery juice for some reason. So I like, did you order tuna fish? And she goes, no. I'm like, hang on, I just put away like 17 other items. Did you buy one of these? And she's like, no. And she's like, so she starts asking, did they have this? Did they have our sandwiches? I'm like, no. And she's like, did they have this? I'm like, no. She's like, well, guess what that math adds up to?
Dude, I'm just imagining some dude like, man, I was gonna drink some shitty ass celery water and like a can of tuna fish, but this sandwich is fucking great. Washing it down with like the best like juice mixture, like just living his best life. Like he's so happy.
So we were talking about that. So I was like, so we were laughing about that because I was like, like I'm sure they order stuff they like, just like we do. Just like everything's subjective except for celery juice. That's a wrong answer. I
want to meet the person that drinks the celery juice.
So she sends a message off to Instacart and she's like, hey, there was a mistake. We really need our sandwiches. We're starving and we want these sandwiches. And then we're like, okay, there was obviously a mistake. We will credit you. We'll send you a new order. It's going to take a couple hours probably, but sorry about that. But here's extra money. Also, you get to keep all that food that we sent you. So enjoy the celery juice. So after they sent that, I was like, I'm gonna pop open this celery juice. Like,
I gotta find out what this is all about.
Picking it up and like champagne in the room with our beautiful new delight. You know, it was a nectar of the gods, Stephen, and by gods I mean Hades. It was terrible. It was the worst.
It tastes like sulfurous eggs. It was just horrible.
Stephen, like the weirdest. It was weird. You know, we talk about LaCroix and like make fun of it sometimes, and it's just like a little breath of something. It's the weirdest thing to be like, oh, I feel like I've been possessed by the essence of celery. Like, what is that? Like, what is...
I just imagine like the celery juice like farm or like the place where they bottle it. It's just a big vat of literal just like they have like a spigot from outside just spraying water into this vat and they throw one stalk of celery in there and then they just bottle it.
It's just like a meet the Fokker situation. Like, does celery even have nipples?
But I have stalks, Greg.
I have
Can
stalks.
you juice me?
But oh, dude, it was so funny. So I tried it and it was terrible. It was not good. It did make me think like how interesting it is, like, you know, the sort of diets that how different everyone's like.
Well, see, like with
menu is.
celery too, I always thought the perk of celery was it has like it's basically like a negative calorie food because it doesn't really have any calories and you have to burn a bunch of jaw muscle to chew it.
Right.
So like, what would be like juice is always bad. Like if you're gonna eat, if you're gonna eat. Or if you're going to consume apple or orange, you should eat the fibers and stuff that come from the fruit naturally, not the juice. I mean, juice is delicious. Don't get me wrong. I drink juice all the time, as you can see. But celery juice, like, why are you cutting the middleman out of that? Like, the whole point of it is to eat that stock. That's the whole.
And you get that weird floss situation with celery, where it's like, come on,
it's
you can floss
food
your
out.
teeth, you get food out of your teeth, it's food in your system. That you get if you get that disgusting water beverage, like whatever that weird mist is that you want in your mouth, it's mostly dirt. That's probably celery juice is probably a good it's a good test for us for the ostrich flavor Kool-Aid, Stephen.
So you're saying the ostrich flavor Kool-Aid should be a celery juice base?
I think it should.
It would give it the earthy tones it needs.
If anything, Stephen, what I've learned is that if people are willing to consume celery juice, ostrich flavor Kool-Aid is on the table again. Back on the table. It's going up.
We just buy that celery juice and slap a "We Have Issues" sticker on it, and that's
on
it.
there.
And that's the ostrich Kool-Aid. You dump a packet of blue raspberry lemonade Kool-Aid in there, and it's like,
oh, so good. But dude, it was crazy. But we eventually got our sandwiches. Everything worked out. Everything was fine. I'm starting to feel a lot better today, thankfully. Yesterday I was kind of like I was exhausted after having a whole night of like I couldn't breathe, trying to go to sleep, and I asked you if we could just push our recording a little. And it's just like ugh, and thankfully I did because Stephen, speaking of diets and weird foods and that sort of stuff, I saw a picture and a headline that you might have seen. There was the grave of a 17th century Polish woman that was unearthed. Did you see that, Stephen?
no.
I will.
Wait,
I'll post.
I might have saw the article, but
I'll post the picture here.
It might have been an Apple News today. I didn't have time to click.
There was a Polish woman's skeleton from the 1700s was unearthed with a sickle poised over her throat. Over the corpse's throat, a sickle, a scythe over her throat to protect people if she were to come back from the dead, because she was a Polish vampire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Not only like, dudes, there was a padlock on her foot trying to like lock her in place.
She must have done some stuff.
Dude, okay.
Or I mean, it was the Salem witch trials and just a bunch of bigoted assholes that chained her up.
Dude, but it was in Poland. And here's the thing, Stephen. She's not the first or only one. I looked it up, like something like 5 years ago. There was a whole basically graveyard of these Polish vampires that were all found in similar situations with like sickles and like blades across their throats. Like I have a bunch of questions about this. That's why I want to bring it up because we talk about vampires all the time. But think about this, dude. 1700s. Not only did they believe vampires were real, but they thought like the only thing we can do is bury our dead and put something to decapitate them or stop them in their tracks in the ground with them. Like it's like, first of all,
you imagine like the guys that like or the people that were prepping those caskets. Like,
I mean, can you imagine the sickle business and how much it was booming back then? People were like,
there's probably just a really good sickle salesman if we really just go back in time. Like,
salesman is what I'm saying, Stephen. I mean, that was like okay. If you can't sell a sickle in the 1700s, you know what you do? Go into the vampire hunting business, baby. Like
Wait, what are you doing with that corpse? Well, we're gonna burn it so she doesn't come back. Burn it.
Burn it.
The ashes can be reformed into a vampiric demonic form. You need to put these sickles over their throats. Decapitation's the only way. We'll just cut her head off now. No.
God does not appreciate that sort of like barbarism. If you do that, you are going.
You have no proof that she's actually a vampire. You just need to make sure if she is.
Oh, that's a perfect scheme too, because like, I mean, if like since there is no proof, and anyone could be, how many of these graves are out there with just like,
jeez,
Steven, what if
the thing is for you to go that extreme, I'm not saying you have to, but we're all having fun here. We're exploring like the craziness of this.
Steven, I want science. Steven, let's give us some like mad 1700 vampiric Polish.
Like
science.
They had to have seen something, right? Like for them to commit that deep, right? For them to like commit to this, somebody saw something creepy enough to be like, there's more to this than meets the eye, and we need to do this. Like there's
the transforming vampires.
Yeah.
More than meets the eye.
Linkin Park starts playing in the background. All vampires, I'm calling out to you. I don't know if it was Numb. It was, I forget which song it was, but
and that's where that's where my brain goes. Like it's either there's some sort of evidence where someone was like, there's something going on here and I don't trust it, and we're gonna do at the very least, we're gonna do what we can to protect ourselves from the potential of that, whatever it may be. That's possible. Or it was someone who was like, vampires are real, and someone else they didn't like was like, nuh-uh, and then they were like, yeah, huh, hey, he said no to me. He's like, and then someone who liked Chad was like, vampires are real, dude. You know, and then like they fought, and then they got bullied in. And
we see stuff happening in real time, right? I mean, like in current day, where
where people are like, there's no evidence of a thing, but people still get.
I mean, like Loch Ness Monster, for example. Sorry for anyone out there that believes. It is very apparent that it was probably just a whale's dong, or like there's many things that could be.
I saw that. I've seen articles since where people they're like, probably not because and but like it's a pretty good case. Like it's a really good case.
Honestly, what I like the evidence, not to completely sidetrack, but I like the evidence that plesiosaurs weren't actually long necks, but they were penguins, basically. Like,
that's cool.
Because the penguin skeleton is very similar to the plesiosaur skeleton. So like they think that maybe there was more fat and tissue there, and it wasn't actually a long neck creature.
Oh, that's cool. I like that idea. It's always really neat when you see like the skeletal structures versus what the real creature looks like, and like how
absolutely
it's like we can only do so much. Like there's a lot of guesswork when we don't know. Have you ever seen like the world's worst skeletal recreation of like that unicorn? Have you ever seen that? I'll post a picture of it so you can see it's so bad. But like there's no chance anyone actually thought that's how it looked, but it was one of those situations where they're like, these are all the bones we have. We don't have any missing Legos, so we're just gonna do what we can with what we have. It's just like it's just a Pokemon of like
it's the final evolution. Have you heard the thing about T-Rex's arms too?
No.
How they might have the bones in the wrong spot and it might actually be back like a chicken, which would kind of make sense since sauropods are birds, but that's pretty interesting too. But anyways, back to Polish vampires.
Dude, so the Polish vampire situation, though, there's a possibility that there was some sort of evidence. There was enough evidence to convince someone to buy a sickle to put it over someone's throat. And that's fascinating because it's in the 1700s, which like I get sounds like a long time ago, but freaking wasn't. You know, like Steven, we were born in the 1900s. And in the 1700s, like that's not that long before that.
Yeah, and like aside from like like we said, a very silver-tongued sickle salesman, like for example, because I'm just what my mind.
Steven, my family is from Sicily. My name Lafusi means the sickle and the mouth. My name means the sickle and the mouth in Italian.
Your family sold the 1700s.
Hey, what I'm saying, what I'm putting out here is that my family were very established vampire hunters. And I will hear no slander. More evidence to the point. My grandma is Polish, so.
Oh my gosh, it's getting deeper.
So this is getting deep. I think my great grandfather went to Poland to sell his sickles, met my great grandma, and then the rest is vampiric history.
Your great grandfather was like, we got to stop these vampires. Your great grandma was like, vampires, sickles.
I don't know what he's saying, but it's starting to make a lot of sense.
Then it cuts back to like your great grandfather. His mouth is just really weird looking. He's a sickle mouth. It's like not that at all. Like it wasn't this cool vampire. But no, like that,
have this. You get Mary Todd Lincoln. I get Vampire Hunter
in American history. But dude, that's actually really crazy and cool. Like, I mean, sickle mouth, like that. Yeah. Word of mouth of the man that sells the sickles, like that's awesome.
That literally just occurred to me while we're talking. It's so funny how that worked out. I love
it. That's pretty awesome. So anyway. Like what I was getting at, like from like a trying to like compare it to other moments in history where humans didn't make the best choices.
Right. Like all of them. But go on.
Yeah, like all of them. But like the Salem witch trials, obviously, they were hanging and burning women because kids were saying that these women were witches. And that's crazy that they would do that, right? But like,
can you imagine getting like being a teacher and trying to be like, okay, listen, this isn't how you spell dog, and they're like, are you sure? You know, like they're like, are you sure? Because you're beginning to sound a little witchy. You're
like, yeah. Could you just imagine being like women in Salem? That's like I mean, throughout history, there's plenty of moments where it's not very fun, but
like all of them,
like pretty much still, like it's still happening. But like I think about it like this, like what we're saying with the commitment to do this to the bodies, unless they have some sort of reason to not do anything to the body because they're not certain. Why would you go to that level of trouble when you could literally throw them on a pyre? Like a burning pyre would take care of what you think is a vampire. You know, fire has always been a way to kill vampires, or it's been a means to in most mythos, right?
Is it a thing where it's like you believe, you're like, look, eventually our God that we believe in is going to resurrect these bodies, and at that point, that the particular God will be able to kind of like very carefully remove those traps that we set, because they're man-made traps, but the monster wouldn't be able to. So yeah, like I'm like, if I'm gonna try to give them reason, I'd imagine like we don't want to do something as brutal as decapitation. That seems like, I mean, that's a harsh thing to do. Like, you know, like as much as you want to be able to like be like, that's once someone's dead, they no longer have the thing that, you know, they don't have the light of life. You can try your best to separate that from a living thing. It's still, we still feel, I mean, you know, we go to funerals and we see body, and you know, like the corpse of our people still feel like our people, you know, and like, I mean, even they don't look like it, you know, it's always like awkward and like surreal. But I guess my point is, I feel like it would be hard for most people to find it within themselves to decapitate a person, you know? So it's like, and do you really want to have in your village or society the person who easily decapitates those people?
Yeah.
But I like what you were saying before. We were like, there's no actual proof of this, but what we can do is like, you know, prevent it to the best of our ability.
So maybe they believed in almost like the Joss Whedon approach on what vampires are. Like a demon possesses the human form.
Yeah.
So they're basically trying to prevent the demon from escaping.
Yes.
But they need to preserve the physical body just in case the afterlife requires their body to transition. I mean, there could be a lot of different religious, like, I mean, Poland especially, there could be a lot tethered to that for sure. I mean, but that's so interesting, right? Like, that's such a crazy thing to stumble across. You know what's funny though? I saw a comedian on TikTok, because that's what we all do, and it's messed up, but it's actually really funny. Like he's basically, I'm just paraphrasing because I'm the worst at quoting things, but he's like, you know, it's crazy. Like for like the last 100 years, like once we found out about like, the mummies and stuff, people from, England and America, we just go right into Cairo. We just dig up their old kings and just like, hey, look, and then we take them and we put them display in our museums. Like, could you imagine if like people from Cairo just came to America and like, hey, this is Ben Franklin. Apparently he was cool to these people. Anyways, we're gonna take it back to Cairo. So see, like, it's crazy that we just do that, right? Like
that is really interesting.
We just go there and just take their pharaohs.
Okay, but like mummies are another interesting thing if you think about it, because it's like, first of all, and it could be for many reasons. I am a historian, so you listen to me now because I am the authority on mummies. They call me Dr. Mummy Pants. This is how what I'm known as in circles. But Stephen,
the sickle mouth mummy pants.
Sickle mouth mummy pants. The fact that no mummies have been found in pyramids, really interesting, right? Like they're always found like separate tombs, like separate areas, not in the like, because people are always like, oh, these pyramids are built as these tombs with like all of their like gold and belongings and all this stuff. But like, why no mummies? Also, Stephen, like there's this whole burial ritual with mummies that makes me wonder, and it's like, okay, you have the Polish vampire situation where they're preventing this demon from coming back from the dead. Why else would you remove something's brain and like essential organs and wrap it so it can't move? You know what I mean? Like, are they afraid of the zombies? Are they like, you know what? If that thing comes back, it's not going to be able to see us. Ha ha ha, sucker.
What if only the most vicious pharaohs that was done to? Like, what if only like the cruelest pharaohs were mummified?
Yeah. What if they're like, look, they were slave drivers, like literal slave owners. They were terrible people. They were monsters. If they do come back, I don't want them to have the power that they would have, in this life, let alone any more power. So like, let's do what we can to remove what we know gives them power.
So if mummies aren't buried in pyramids, I mean, we basically just have to accept at this point that pyramids were some sort of like
alien spacecraft. Yes.
Yeah. Either that, yeah. There's something more going on there, right?
I'm gonna say,
I've heard the water channel thing where like it pulls water in and conducts electricity, like a dam almost, like is what I've heard.
Well, okay, this is what I'm thinking, Stephen. Do you remember when we talked to Alex and we talked about dragons, and I was mentioning how we hoard gold for our alien ancestors, basically? What about the idea that maybe the pyramids are just simply chambers for that particular gold that was harvested at that particular time for the people? We do it differently now. We don't use pyramids to communicate with the extraterrestrials or other worldly dimensional people, but at the time, maybe that was like the walkie-talkie of the time to communicate.
Damn it, we're gonna find out that we are just 100% an entire slave race, aren't we? Like our whole purpose is just to mine the earth,
mine gold, and mine. Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, just to get these precious. To basically, it's like the Rick and Morty episode where they're just constantly creating energy for the thing, and it's just the car battery. Like that's all we are. We're just a battery for someone else, but we're just like, look at us, we're gonna do our best, and we're living, we love, ha ha ha. Like everything's good. Really, it's fine. I mean, it's no different than anything else. It's just like living in a simulation. We're still having a podcast. We still make comic books. I'm still wearing a shirt of a movie.
There's still moments of joy, moments of sorrow, moments of. I mean, you still have your human moments.
Life is still. It's like either you come to terms with like the weird nihilism that just kind of exists in the world, like the fact that like, no, there is no true like sincere meaning for us, in this life. We have to make our own. It's fine. And even if there was, would it be something that we actually enjoy? Like would it, if we found out that we had that particular purpose, would it steal the joy from other things, or would it just be like another purposeful thing? Like, are we like, all right, I'm the power behind this weird like Green Lantern ring that I didn't know existed. Like
we're part of Hal Jordan's like whole willpower thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could be. We could be literally like powering one of the like the emerald, the gems from Thanos. Like we don't know.
We're the soul gem, baby.
We're the soul gem, baby. Yeah.
But I love how we went from from Polish vampires to existential dread, basically, is what we did.
I feel like Polish Vampire is just so. What I'm saying is, you need to buy a sickle. We all need to just
buy a sickle. Buy a sickle from us.
Buy a sickle from us right now.
1-855 sickle.
If you don't need the sharp part, it's like a stick. If you're a Ninja Turtle, if you're the purple one, you got a stick. If you're not the purple one, you have the sharp stuff. You make a sword out of it. It's kind of like
you can be 2 Ninja Turtles with a sickle.
2 Ninja Turtles, 1 sickle.
If you really want to get creative, you can break the other. You can give the guy a shorter stick.
If you break it and tether the 2 sides of the stickle, you have nunchuck sickles. Now you're almost all the turtles.
They're called nickels, and they're just nickels. we call them Thomas Jeffersons in my hood. Is what we call them. I love that nunchucks are now Thomas Jeffersons because of cutting a sickle in half and calling them nicknames.
So, anyway, but that's what I was thinking about this week, Steven. I was thinking about monsters and vampires and being sick and nonsense. And I tried my best to get coloring done. Or not coloring. I tried my best. I tried my best to get the lettering done, but
I feel like the meme right now, I'm the colors now.
So, but dude, I try my best. I know this week I should be able to finish the book, but I'll tell you that like I asked Atlas's mom if she can pick him up on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, so I have like 1 extra day next week. So I'll definitely get the book completely finished by next week.
Are you still thinking about adding a deathless narration?
I'm going to. I'm going to. The
narration was, obviously Played Again needed a narration because there's less characters going on, but there's also most of the dialogue is very like it's between him and Deathless, right? Because he's talking to people, but it's mostly Douglas and Deathless. So like I think Played Again, the narration served the book a lot, and I feel like you write good narration, so I think a solid narration will probably pull it together even more. So.
Yeah, it's one of those
things. You can cover up some of my bad perspective lines like in the backgrounds with it.
So for those of you who don't know, so we finished writing this book, Deathless. I flatted most of it. Steven's flatting the rest of it. He's coloring it. I'm lettering it. We're very close to having a finished book for issue 1, and I think it's beautiful so far. But I had the feeling while I was rereading it, I was like, it's a good book, and I like that it stands on its own, and it tells the story, and it's cohesive and funny and good. But I felt like it just needed something. So I'm going to just spend some time probably next week when my son goes with his mom, and I'm just going to write a narration. And honestly, Steven, I'm usually like a humble, like I try my best to like never, like feel too confident. I hate myself. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I do feel like I was raised in the narration. Like I was brought up in that like late 90s, early 2000s. Like
I was gonna say, like narrations, like they're like I remember like the 80s and 90s comics. There were some narrations that were actually daunting, where you would open the first page and there's like a box like this long with the tiniest font, like to just set you up, Yeah.
Well. Yeah, it always feels more like prose, like you get that like awesome Rorschach, like it's like the narration in Watchmen. You get all these like Batman's like laden with them, like all these, like obviously Deadpool has a bunch, but like Madman has like this awesome ongoing like journal narration. It's just, and that's the kind of stuff that I love growing up. And if you like ever get a chance to read our Ostrich Colony scrapbook, you can see like Absentees had narration, Scavengers had like a really cool narration that I loved, and like it's just something that I really enjoy doing. And I think it tethers a book like thematically in a really fun way, where it's like if your book needs it's not like if my book needs it's not it makes me feel insecure. Like I'm like I'm it's like a crutch. But I feel like if it's just like an extra instrument and it's playing along with the rest of the song, and it harmonizes so well. Like it really brings out,
It's like that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like ramen noodles are great, but if you save a little of the dry ramen noodles and crunch it on top, it's glorious.
So
picante beef.
What I was trying to say in my rambling was that my narration is a lot like dry ramen noodles.
They add a little crispity snap, okay, Anthony, when you put them on top.
It's true. But yeah, so that was my week. And I was Steven, did you have anything that you wanted to talk about this week?
No, man, I just basically grinded at work. I mean, summertime is always more difficult because of allergies, plus working outside is not fun in Florida summer. But we're in September, which is usually still a shitty month, but we're getting close to cool weather.
Dude,
so
I can't wait. I am just living for the cool weather at this point.
Dude, there's something about Florida winters too, like because like Florida winters are just, it's like the happiest time of the year if you're a Floridian. Like the 3 or 4 months where we get like the 50s and 60s, like it's great.
Okay, it's so nice, and I know, like, people are like, "Oh, you don't even get winter. You don't have seasons," and you're completely true. You're right, except for the fact that like it's so good that we forget how hot it is otherwise. Think about that. Think about that. We live in Florida. Imagine for a second visiting the sun, and the people who live on the sun are like, "Oh man, it's hot here," and be like, "Wait, what do you mean it's hot? You don't say that every day. You live here. You should know that." We don't. We forget because
dude, every time like come March, it's like it's getting a little warm out, but you know what? Summer's not that bad. And like in the middle of August, you just forget that struggle.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So every week we, talk about what we did. We talk about what we thought about. Then we talk about Steven. What do you have coming up next week?
I'm going to push to finish again. That's like my goal every week because I'm just going to keep setting the time aside. We're getting closer and closer. I think like there's like, I don't know how many pages are left, but I know I'm somewhere in 14 or 15 out of 23 or something like that. So, and like I said, the later pages are going to be interesting to color because they should be colored drops and going with the lighting and stuff like that. So it's going to be, they're going to be colored differently than all these pages that need to be full flatted.
Right.
So, yeah, we're getting there, and I can't wait for it to be done, and then we can start issue 2. Send this out for print. That's what I'm excited for too.
I love, and I already have so much of issue 2 written that like you can just get started and then
just jump right into it, and I already have the characters.
Dude, it's so cool. Like we're in a great place. I'm also this week going to work on just getting the lettering done. I think I can do it. I should be able to finish this week. Now that the move is basically situated, but we'll see. I'm like I said, definitely by the following week, but I'm going to try my best to finish this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Also, if you guys have watched our last few interviews, let us know like what you think of our new format. Also go check out Critically Stupid. It's out now. I'll post a link below. It's the D&D podcast that I get to be on for a little while until Alex decides to kill my character, which he will. I'm gonna haunt that podcast. But anyway, let us know what you think of our new format or interviews. If you want to be interviewed by us, make sure you contact us on twitter.com/wehaveissuespod. I'm gonna do my best to get back to everyone. I've obviously been moving. It was sick. If you watch this episode, you understand what's happening in my life. So I'm doing my best. We're people. We're getting through stuff. My move is, like I said, about done, so I should be able to contact everyone and get our interviews going again, soon. But I think that it's been going so well. What do you think, Steven?
The interview's been doing amazing. Like the way the views are splitting and everything, it's perfect. Like it's doing much better than I thought. Like I was worried, like we've always worried about with the over too much content, But I think it's going nice and smooth, and it gives those people their own time to shine, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. So I hope everyone else appreciates it and likes it. But in any case, thank you for watching any of our show. Thank you for watching the interviews or the episodes or both. And we really do just love and appreciate all of you. We will see you next week. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And this has been episode 105 of We Have Issues. See you next time.
Boom.
All right, so I have my temporary situation.
Oh, I like the scenery though.
Thank you. Yeah, it's mostly the same on this side, and then there's just other stuff going on.
I like it.
Yeah. I ordered a new frame, like a new poster, so it's going to be like it has our logo in it with like it's basically like the background I always make with all the different comic pictures and stuff. Nice. I ordered like a big one to frame behind me, so it's not movie posters. Because I was like, should I have an Evil Dead 2 poster in the living room with the kids around?
Oh, fair point. Because that's where your new workstation is. I got you.
I'm just in the living room. There's a cat right there right now. Like it's.
Ooh, we might have like visitations from.
There's a chance that the cat will make its way up here and just knock everything down while I'm filming. It can very, very well.
Just doing the little kitty cat tap.
You just watch the dead eyes as it scoots all the books onto my back. And
I meant before we started this podcast, I meant to take like an hour before we did it. I was going to be like, because I've noticed, and it's because it's summertime, but I've noticed that I've sounded stuffier. Like on the recent episodes, I was like, I'm going to start taking an additional Zyrtec around 6 o'clock and then nasal spray so I sound nice and clear. And I forgot to do it. But next week, I'm going to do it next week, people. And you let me know if you hear a difference in my voice, because I hate my voice.
My allergies have been so bad. I will. Well, actually, I wrote it down to talk about allergies. So cool. We can definitely talk about it because holy crap. Like the whole house has been like attacked by like the congestion, nonsense lately. Is there anything in this one that you want to talk about for sure? Like anything interesting pop up that you're like?
I don't think anything happened this week to me too much.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anything crazy happened.
You're like, so I got double married. Wait, what?
So I'm in a polygamous, like marriage. And
I thought
sister wives. We basically went full Mormon. No, I was kidding.
We went full Mormon. Speaking of, so we have to work on that ostrich Kool-Aid, Steven. I feel like we were really onto something. I watched that back and I was like, we're doing this. This is good. Okay?
Dude, we should just sell ostrich Kool-Aid. We should just
there's no reason
make our own little brand.
Yeah. I mean, we'd be fools not to do it.
I'm imagining like this ominous label with like ostriches with hoods on, 3 ostrich eye, if you will, and they're just like selling you their sand flavored. It would have to be like would it be yellow? Would you go like a black and white?
Yellow.
These are all horrible colors for a beverage. Here's this black and white beverage. Like it's like tar and like cream.
Why does it look like a zebra? It doesn't even separate. What is this? It's not combining at all. Like it's not like a nice milk chocolate. Nope.
We could go the fact that ostriches are dinosaurs and our catchphrase could be get stuck in the sap, and it's like an orange drink. Just have like an RNA DNA little thing,
God.
Just steal Jurassic Park's character.
Yeah. Ooh, Jurassic Park, but all ostriches. Oh man. All right. So what is it? 105, right?
Which is crazy.
I can't believe we're on 105. I have a little fly in here that's gonna probably hit my face. I'm gonna do that thing, dude. Isn't it so annoying when like something's annoying you and like in your perception you can see it and like it's bothering you, but no one else is around to see it or like can't see it the same way. Like there's this little bug in here right now, and if I swat at it, no one else on camera is gonna see it. So I'm just gonna look like
it's basically a battlefield of the mind to everybody else. Like you're just like in this arena with yourself.
Yeah. Ah, man. But the truth is, there's this Russell Crowe fly just going around here like. Are you not entertained? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm trying my best.
I'm definitely not entertained.
I have to be like the most sociopathic, in the end of Psycho. He's like, I'm not even gonna swat this innocent fly. He's just like sitting there, like ha 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 ha, in his mind. I have to do that. I have to be like a psychopath while there's this fly just taunting me. This Jeff Goldblum just destroying, just ha 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 ha. Podcast find a way.
My name is Fly. You killed another fly. Prepare to die. I don't know if I have any relatives. We live for only like 24 hours, so
I have no living relatives.
I've only held on to this vengeance for like 3.5 hours, but
I'm not positive if it was you or my father. At this point, anything could have killed that fly, and who knows if we were related. All right, dude. I'm gonna go edit this thing.
Wait, I got you.
Oh, you want to do some? Okay, let's do it. Oh, I love it. Ooh, I love it. Wait, what was that one? That was like, oh, I love it.
All right. Have a good Okay.
I love it, dude. We need to remember to do those because it's so much. It's so much.
The reason why I remember is because I've been using the mic on the side, so I know it probably hasn't been a problem for you to get screenshots of me. But I'm like, oh wait, the mic was in front of me tonight, so I need to make sure he's got
dude
skills of me. So.
Yeah. Did we? Hang on. Let me stop recording. Thank you, everyone.